Welcome to Joy of Business with host Simone Milasas, a dynamic business leader with a difference. Simone has founded and operated many businesses from a young age and has always done business differently. Today, Simone is the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness and travels the world presenting Joy of Business programs using access tools and empowering people to know that they can create business in a different way and make money doing it. Simone Milasas, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hi everybody, you're Simone Milasas, your host on Joy of Business on OMTimes, and we have a very different show today, so let's see how we handle this because there's quite a few people on here. And the topic today is, are you committed to your business? And we have a few people on here, but the one thing that they all have in common is they are all Joy of Business facilitators. We like to call them JCF for short. So, one by one, we have Rebecca Hulse. Say hello, Rebecca.
Hey, everyone.
We have Francesca Fiorintini. So, Rebecca's from New Zealand. We have Francesca from Italy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
And we have Andrea, and I'm probably going to butcher everybody's name here, Andrea Lazenby from Hawaii. She's not on yet. She's having a bit of a problem, so she'll be coming back real soon. She says hello. She says aloha from Hawaii, I'm sure. And then we have Harris Omanovic from Slovenia.
Hi.
Hey, Harris. And then we have Katarina Nilsson, who is from Sweden, but she's currently in Colorado, Denver. So welcome, Katarina.
Thank you so much, guys. This is so much fun.
I know. So all of us on here. So let's hope that we can make this work. So if you want to check out all of these guys too, they've all got their bios on the webpage on OMTimes and also on accessjoyofbusiness.com /OMTimes. You can find all of the shows, previous shows, and you can find all of these listed on there, and you can find them all listed on that website under facilitators because, like I said, they're all JCS. So the topic for today, are you committed to your business? Now, this is an interesting topic. So recently we had a Joy Business facilitator training in Copenhagen, Denmark, and there was a lot of stuff that came up on the last day about committing to your business. So, and I think it showed up not like anybody thought it was going to show up. So I'm wondering if any of you can sort of, jump in there and say, what was it like with your first introduction to committing to your business? What was that like? What came up for you? Any of you, if you want to jump in.
Well, I have to say, it was definitely a step up. Simone and I had a lot to do with the creation of what caused this big introduction to commitment, and seeing it not happen as we thought was actually quite incredible. I mean, I know Dr. Dane here says all the time to both of us, it's never going to show up the way you think it's going to. But this was that in a very intense and a whole new way. It really doesn't look anything like it's going to. I actually thought commitment was a lot to do with sticking to your decisions and making something work and having, not being fickle. But it turns out it was more to do with, so what are you actually going to create? What is actually going to work for you? And are you going to actually follow that? It was definitely a world changer for me.
Hey, that's a good question too. It's like, what did any of you other JCFs on here originally think commitment was, and what's your awareness of commitment now? Harris, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, like most of the people don't even know what is commitment, and they think that they are committed. Like my opinion was that I was committed to my job and my life. But then I realized that I was still in the waiting room for life and I was still like little hiding. And after acknowledging this, after being aware of how can I be more committed to my life and my business. It's just like being more present and being more aware, like everything is included, and like my life became bigger and business became bigger, and it was more joy, more energy, more receiving, more of everything. And there is no past, there is no future, there is only creation in present and miracles in present.
That's beautifully said, Harris. I love it. What about Katarina? And it's like, how did you feel about commitment before? What did you think it was? Like, what did you had decided it was, and how do you see commitment to your business now?
Well, this is Katarina. I'd say that commitment for me was more, having to do with responsibility, or it didn't really have a truly positive ring to it for me. So what I realized also by seeing that there is so much more to be created if we choose to commit to our lives and to our business to a larger extent. So what I saw also is that everywhere I'm not committed fully to myself, to my life, to my business, is where I'm making excuses and where I'm not creating. And that was such a beautiful gift for me to see that, hey, wow, so everywhere I'm not willing to commit is where I'm kind of having excuses and reasons and justifications why I'm not creating. So that was cool for me.
I like that. And both you've all sort of mentioned already about how much you had decided or concluded that commitment was not a nice thing. And I know for myself, years and years and years ago when I did some work with Access, when I first started work with Access Consciousness, and Gary tried to pay me for it, and I was like, I don't want to get paid. And he was like, why not? I was like, because I don't want to commit to you. And he's like, I'm not asking you to commit to me. He said, I just want to pay you for what you've done. And I had this whole thing that he had to, run the Access Consciousness clearing statement with me for like at least an hour and a half, because I was unwilling to commit. I was unwilling to receive money because I felt like if I received money from something, it was then going to be a commitment, like a straitjacket sort of definition of commitment, not a commitment as in Harris explained, the level of creation that actually occurs. So I love this. So Francesca, it's like, what was it like for you? What did you think commitment was, and then sort of what occurred for you?
So actually, I'm Italian, right? So every time there is a new word that actually I don't really want to understand what does it mean, because I'm always using it, and that was the point. I actually went to the dictionary. I went to the English dictionary and looked at what does it mean, and in Italian as well. So really to get because everywhere I didn't want to look at a word in English, it's because I refused to see that. And actually that was because commitment for me was almost about work hard and support something, and then after that, and actually the same meaning in Italian too, like make a promise, give your life to someone else or to something else. So, and I say, I did this for all my life. I don't want to do this anymore. And so, as you say, I use the Access Consciousness clearing statement a lot to really destroy and create all the point of view that I had about it, and also where I misunderstood what commitment was. And that we had this conversation, and actually what came up, that I was really committing very, very few with myself. And of course, I was doing it with myself and with my business and with my business partner business as well. And so I started really demanding, okay, what would it take to commit more with my life, with myself first? And since that day during business facilitators, the level of commitment with myself increased, because really I did this demand, and also with my business as well, with my all the area that I'm working, and things are showing up in a way that I didn't think, as actually just Rebecca at the beginning mentioned. But there is a level of ease, and no more, whenever you are, that you are not doing something, you feel guilty. I don't feel that anymore. It's almost more, okay, what can I create here? What contribution can I be? And what will be joyful and fun for me? So actually those questions are more present in my life than before, really. So actually I'm very grateful for that day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And it's I'm very grateful too for the awareness that we had. Now there was something occurred which we don't need to go into on the OMTimes radio show, but something occurred with the Joy Business Facilitator training, and I literally, went away and spoke to Gary Douglas at lunchtime and came back and then said, okay, he said to me, you need to tell everyone that, he said, if you want to give their money back, you can do that. And he said, but tell them that they need to get that done in the next 15 minutes because everything that you're about to talk about will literally change their life. And I'm so actually grateful for this conversation because I can hear in your voices that, and your very being, that things have changed. And how many of us have been functioning from commitment, like I said before, like a straitjacket, or, you've got your hands tied behind your back, or as Francesca was saying, that it's like committing to someone or something else. And it's like, where are you in the computation with that? Oh yeah, you're not. And it's like, and the tone that I hear throughout this whole conversation is more so about the creation, the level of presence, the level of awareness, and most of all, the level of choice that is now available for all of you, which I absolutely love. So this has been great for me. And I know that we have Andrea back on here now. Andrea, are you there? I thought we had Andrea back on. So,
yeah,
and I
did,
also
and it's funny because we just lost her. I just saw her in our back end.
Oh, seriously?
She's been playing hide and seek. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I got to apologize for one thing. I said Andrea lives in Hawaii, and I was getting her mixed up with another JCF, Ember, and Andrea actually lives in the UK. So, but we are heading off to a break in about 30 seconds. So I will go back to Andrea after the break. And if you want to find anything out more about, the Joy Business classes that a lot of these facilitators have coming up all over the world, as you can see, it's a global event. You can go to accessjoyofbusiness.com and search under classes. And then you'll find all of these guys there. You can find out more, give them a call. They all do private sessions. And I think, like I said, they've all got the Joy Business 101 class up, which is a one-day class. And it's called Business Done Different because the thing is, business is done different. And business, if you do it the way you know how to do it and not the way you're told how to do it, it's a completely different reality. So we'll be back really soon. Don't forget to mute your phones, everybody. And we'll be talking to Andrea, hopefully, when we come back. And more about committing to your business and what does that look like for you. Don't go away. Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Milasas, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know. I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. the cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hi everybody, welcome back. You're on Joy of Business and you're with Simone Milasas, your host. And we have lots and lots of JCS on this call today, and we are talking about committing to your business and what does that look like. So let's try again. Andrea, are you there? What's going on?
I don't know. I still haven't managed to get her on the call, so maybe I'll announce when we do get her.
I'll tell you what, Britain came out of Britain came out of being involved with the EU, and now it's not willing to play with anyone. Not even OMTimes. So, all right. So we'll keep going ahead, and then we'll see if Andrea does come on. So, Andrea, if you come on, she's not listening. You give me a hold of Rebecca when she's on.
I will.
So how does it get any better than this? So one of the things I wanted to mention too is just to give you a little bit more background on how I see commitment with business as well. It's not just business. I mean, I always say that, your life is your business and business is your life. So it's like, if you're committing to your business, you're actually committing to your life. So one of the things, and the best way that Gary Douglas described this for me was that how many people go out there and wish for something? I mean, if you look at business alone, how many people know it's going to be successful? If you knew that every business was going to be successful, then everybody would be doing it. You'd have these winning businesses everywhere, but they're not. Every single business is a risk. Every single business is something that you play at and you make choices every day and to see where it ends up. It's like, and hopefully you end up making, a lot of money, changing the world, changing people's lives, like whatever it is that you're in business with. But the thing is that I see people doing is they wish for something, but they don't actually create it. They're not willing to commit to it. All they want to do is complain about what they don't have rather than actually creating what they could have. Now, let me give you an example. For instance, say people say, I wish I had $1 million. Okay, so how many people go to bed wishing they had $1 million? What if you actually woke up tomorrow and said, all right, what's it going to take for me to create $1 million? And you actually started physically instituting and actualizing what it would take for you to have $1 million in your bank account, for you to be making more than $1 million each financial year. Would you be willing to have that show up? Would you be willing to make that level of commitment, no matter what it looks like and no matter what it takes? And everything at that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. I like that. Some good, strong yeses in there. Now, let me give you one more hypothetical before we go back to the JCS on here, is just in case, the thing is, it's like if you, we go to Costa Rica all the time, and I have a horse there, which I'm going there next week, and I'm super excited about it. And I have a horse there, so I get to ride my horse for 2 weeks while I'm in Costa Rica, and I love it. And the amount of people who sort of do that thing of going, I wish I had a horse there. Okay, so I wish I had a horse there. Look at the energy of that, and what does it create? Pretty much nothing. You start to judge yourself for not having a horse, or judge others for having a horse, or you function from more of a lack rather than a space of creation. Now, instead, if you decide to have a horse, go, okay, so what have I got to do to have a horse here? Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to commit to buying the horse, number one, commit to riding the horse, commit to loving and adoring the horse. That's not hard. Commit to getting it trained, getting it looked after, getting new shoes on it, making sure that it's fed properly. You commit to that. And even then, if you have a horse and then you don't desire it anymore, you don't just leave it out there to pasture, you commit to finding another owner. So there's this level of presence and awareness, and I want to sort of say there's this strive always for something more in your life when you have that level of commitment. So how many things have you been wishing for that if you didn't wish for them, you actually committed to them and for them would create a completely and utterly different reality? And everything at that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. So let's go back to the JCS. Yeah, go ahead, Francesca.
That's one of the things that actually has been added to my life.
Sorry.
It's Francesca here. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
One of the things has been added to my life. It's really, as soon as I start to commit more, I became more aware of all the subtle things, around me, but also, and without reaction, but also more aware about really what I desire, what I want to choose. It actually, when you don't have clarity about the choice or maybe this, maybe that, it's more straight and really clear. So actually, as you said, all the wishes went away in a way, but it's like transforming in choice. It's been really, really amazing. Like, when you are in a fairy tale, there is the small magician. Actually, I feel like that in a way.
Okay, so let's talk about something with you, Francesca, because all these things, like, I'm so grateful for all of you being on here, because these are things that happen in life. Okay, they happen in life, they happen in business, so how do you deal with it? Now, recently, Francesca and I, who we work together with Joy Business and Access Consciousness, we probably had our fourth conversation on Francesca working with Joy Business. And it's like, I work with her with Joy Business and Access. We are growing dynamically in every which way. So it's sort of this conversation of we're like, oh, what's happening here? What's going on? And she's been traveling off to Israel and not Turkey, not yet, and Japan and different places for us to help us with these classes that Gary and Dane do. And Francesca's level of commitment to everything that she says yes to is huge. And when she's somewhere, she definitely commits to being there. But what we kept noticing was a lot of the stuff with Joy Business would become this like fourth, fifth, sixth priority. And she knew it and I knew it. So just the other day, we had a chat about it and we're like, all right, so let's change this. Let's change the commitment level. And she no longer works with the team of Joy Business. She'll be included in any of the classes that I do in Europe. Of course, she's a JCF herself and would always contribute energetically. But the sign-off on the level of commitment to Joy Business is not there anymore. Now, what I'd like to ask you, Francesca, and we haven't had a conversation about this, is what happened with you with that? What sort of showed up for you energetically? Did it become easier, harder, more space?
Actually become more space. Because I was thinking, in a way, just like I told you, okay, in a way, I wasn't willing to show to the world, actually, or show to myself, actually, that this wasn't working. I was like, yeah, I can do it. And then all the time, the same thing will show up with Joy Business, that I wasn't really contributing as much as Joy Business deserves, as much I am capable to, So there was this, and I said, look, but and I wasn't even happy anymore because I wasn't delivering to you and Joy Business what it actually deserved. So whenever I was willing to look at this energy on me and committed to myself, I said, okay, what if I'm committing to myself? And if I commit more to myself, I will commit more also to Simone as well, right? Because there is a level, we can say also that we are really good friends, and I didn't want to lose you. How many times we don't want to lose someone that we are working with or a friend, and that actually was the biggest point for me. So I saw that probably I will have more from you, or, like as a friendship, if I was willing to see that and actually create such a huge place. And as you say, I will always contribute to Joy Business. We just had a meeting, and it's like, it's my life. I am totally grateful. You saw me in a way that no one else did before, and you actually contribute to me and say, look, you could be that. You are this. You love business, and actually make me trust in myself. You trust more in me than what I trust in myself in the past. So you show me a way, and the gratitude that I have for you, it's really beyond words, Simone. So, but now if I look at, now I have more space, I'll create it. because I'm no more like attached and a lie that I could do it, but wasn't actually true. And also, thank you for your passion on that. Because in reality, I would have been fired like before, you know what I'm saying?
But you're welcome. And the funny thing is, the one thing that I would like to reiterate is the space that it has created. Now we have no idea what's going to show up next, but there's a space of creation that seems to be available, and not this level of judgment or a level of like, judging. And I mean judging yourself. Like when Francesca judges herself for not doing something, or, and then I get cranky and frustrated, and then I'm like, and this whole energy, it doesn't create anything. Now, I also had a business partner once who he didn't want to split up our business because he thought we wouldn't be friends anymore. And I was like, no, it's just a business. You're my friend. That's something completely different. And we ended up being much greater friends after the business. So anywhere that you are still committed to someone, because you committed to a business, committed to someone, committed to something, because you think that you won't hold on to something else, rather than that old saying of, what does it say? If, let it go. What is it? It's talking about a friendship. It's like, let it go. If the eagle or something, the bird, if it comes back, it was yours. If it doesn't, it never was. So what if you gave a space to your commitment to yourself, to your business, to your money flows, etc.? How many people are holding on to their money desperately rather than actually allowing the space of creation and committing to more showing up rather than holding on to what you've got? And everything as that is times a gazillion when you destroy and uncreate it. Right, and I'm good and bad, Pock and Pride, all name, Shores, Boys and Beyond. Yay, yes. So we are heading off to another break in about 20 seconds here. So when we come back, we're going to be asking Katarina and Harris and Rebecca a few more questions on about, how was it for them jumping off the cliff into commitment? And if you guys have any other stories that people can relate to, that would be fantastic, because I get that, this happens to everyone, and there is no handbook. There's no rule book. There's just choice. So what have you been choosing that if you chose something different could show up with way more ease, joy, and glory? So don't go away, because we're not going away. We'll be back real soon. And we're talking about committing to your business on the Joy of Business radio show here with Simone Milasas. We'll be back soon.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love, and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Host your show on OMFM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on OMFM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Would you like to make a difference in the world but don't know how? Do you think you'd have an easier time creating that change with or without money? Here's the thing. You have to be willing to value yourself and the services that you offer to start creating more money. My new online video course, Finding the Value of You and Your Business, is now online at udemy.com. Go to accessjoyofbusiness.com/Udemy special to get $20 off today.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back on Joy of Business. You're with Simone Milasas, your host. And you can find out more from all of us at accessjoyofbusiness.com. Find your Joy Business 101 class in a place near you. Now, I'm praying that when I say hello to Andrea here, she's actually here.
And so am I. Can you hear me?
Woo! Yes, we can. It's a good day today.
the joy of technology in England, yeah. Wow. So hello, everybody.
So you were committed to keep going, committed to keep trying to get on. I love it.
That's it. Never give up, never give in. Just keep going. And that's really what I wanted to talk about.
Go for it.
So when the subject of commitment came up, of course I absolutely, oh my God, I can't commit to that. Or how am I going to do it? And then I went away and I realized that this is something that I have never done in any area of my life. I've always been, I used to perceive that as choice, that I wouldn't commit. So, but the choice was that I wasn't committing to anything in my life. So I would just walk away from anything and think that was choice, rather than what could I create, which is something completely different. So, yeah, great. Thanks for that awareness. And then I was also thinking about commitment. Is like, you know, when you're driving and you're on a motorway, if you've got your destination in mind and you're going for it, you'd probably just be in the fast lane. If you were unsure where you were going and you weren't committed to where you were going, and you were looking for, when you're going to turn off, then you'd be in the slow lane and you'd always be waiting for the junction to come so you could turn off. So I thought that was a great visual for me. So, what lane are you in your life?
That's a great analogy. And let me ask you, Andrea, it's like, have you noticed that you started committing to other things in your life, or recognizing the difference between what you had decided choice was and what choice actually is?
Yes, that's exactly what's happened. So I'm aware now of all the places that I have been doing that in all of my life, with relationships, with days out, anything really, because as you are with one thing in your life, you are with it you're like that with everything in your life. So that's been a great awareness to me.
Thank you for that too. It's interesting because I remember when I even first started, dating my partner, and we did everything we could to try and get rid of each other. Sort of like, you do something and be like, oh, look, turn around, they're still there. But I guess that neither of us were really willing to commit to each other. And we had decided what commitment was. Like, it's a really big topic of what you've decided commitment is, because like we've spoken about like the areas where you feel like you get strangled, and it's like, and then there's the commitment, no matter what it takes, no matter what it looks like you said before, Andrea, never give up, never quit. And it's like, I'm going for this. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Oh, I might stumble and fall. I might lose some money. Okay. It's like, or I might, make a mistake, whatever. But it's like, nothing is really a mistake. It's just another choice that's available for you that you have not yet had available, that you've not yet chosen. So everywhere that you're listening to this out there and you're wondering, you're like Andrea, where you're like, no, I just was giving myself choice, walking away from things rather than going, what would my life look like in 5 years' time if I committed to this? Would I have more money? Would I be happier? And everything at that is times a gazillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, pros and beyond. Fun topic. So, Andrea, did you have anything else you wanted to add there, or shall I go on to Katarina and Harris for a bit?
Well, I was just thinking that, it's not so much, I had a lot of things attached to this word commitment, and one of the biggest things was I hadn't even perceived that. I thought that I wasn't committing to things because I was sure to fail, and that's uncovered that belief.
So you had then, how many people out there listening have already decided that they're sure to fail? It's sort of like the joy of failure. Yep, told you so. Yeah. Yep, there you go. I did it. And that is actually a topic that comes up in some of our Joy Business classes. So like I said, don't forget to check out where your local Joy Business 101 class is, and you can find out, do a full day with the manual and everything, and you receive so much information. So Katarina, I think you had some stories as well about committing, not committing, what that is and what that looks like, and how maybe you've seen it as a restriction or an obligation, and what choices have come upon you.
Yeah, definitely. And I can see that earlier on in my life, I have been committed to other people more than being committed to myself and my life and my business. So just one example that came to mind was when I decided to go to the first JCF training, which was 2 years ago in Australia. And I am Swedish. I had never traveled so far. I'd never been to Australia. There were so many things that came up in my world, and still I just knew. I knew that I should be there. And I had these other people's points of views around this. Oh, that's really far. How will your son, will he be okay while you're away? It's like, yeah, he's really bad. You know.
Isn't it funny though that people try and come up with all the reasons why you shouldn't do it?
Yeah.
Rather than encouraging you and going, go Katarina, that's cool. You live in Sweden, you're going across the other side of the world to Australia. Have fun. Have a ball. Have a blast.
I know. And there were also these points of view that, oh, you just did the Certified Facilitators training the same year. Isn't it far too soon to do the JCF training as well? So many judgments that came up from other people and from myself as well. And also my beautiful, sweet, wise body required to fly business class. And I was like, oh, I've never in my life paid so much money for tickets on an aircraft. And I'm totally doing it. So the very moment when I signed up, I paid, I had my tickets, and it was like all the molecules of my whole being and body was like vibrating like crazy. And it was this huge adventure for me. And I really, really chose it and did it from the space of the adventure. I had no clue what would show up after the JCF training. I did not have the requirement on myself to facilitate one single class if I didn't feel like it. And it changed everything for me. It was opened up so much for me. So after that first JCF training, I created this international adventure, and I've been facilitating classes in many countries since then. So that's been such a contribution to myself and to my life and to my business. So that's just one example where I really felt that I was standing on the cliff looking down, and it was so high and exciting and scary, and I did it. I jumped off the cliff and I survived. And I expanded my world.
The thing that I'd like to point out there, though, too, Katarina, is that you spoke about, okay, so you committed to you. You committed to your life. You committed to your business. You committed to spending more money on yourself. And it's like, flying business class, and it's like going across the other side of the world, not taking anyone else's point of view. So you committed to yourself to create something greater. And what I would like to add to that as well is you've actually committed to the planet and the contribution that you've been to the planet and to me, myself, and to Joy Business and the expansion of Access Consciousness by you choosing that. Because if you look at the energy, if you didn't choose it, there's a lot of people who wouldn't know about Access Consciousness or wouldn't have the tools that they can use in business. But you committing to yourself and how that sort of ripples across the whole entire world. I mean, you're in Denver, Colorado now, playing with another JCF, Heather Nichols, and creating that. And it's like that wouldn't have occurred if you hadn't made that choice to commit to you to come over to Australia and, and commit to creating more for you. So you never know how it's going to show up.
Exactly, and I'm grateful that you say that and that you point that out. And this conversation, I had this conversation for a long time ago with Heather it would be so fun to create something together, and when and how and everything. And for me, I remember these conversations like 1.5 years ago or something like that or a year ago, that it was like I didn't really believe it could come into fruition. So I just had that energy. And now here I am, and I facilitated a creative flow workshop on Friday here. And it's so much fun. So what I see is that I've been using so many things to avoid committing to me and my life, excuses with health, money, whatever, and I'm so done with that. So what would it take for everyone who's willing to step up and commit more to themselves, to their lives, to their business, to everything? It's more fun.
It is more fun. I like that. And as you're talking, I'm looking at, so how many people listening and how many of you, JCS on this call as well, have realized that the amount of energy that you use to not choose, not commit, not spend either it's time, energy, or money on yourself, on your business, on your money flows, and how much harder that was. And now that you are actually functioning from that place of, commitment to yourself and your business, how things are getting way easier. And nothing ever shows up the way you think it's going to show up. And you end up having way more adventures and way more fun, and not from your logical mind. It's like, because if you could do everything that your logical mind, had decided it wanted to do, you'd have everything you ever desired. And it's usually the logical stuff that locks us up. It's the insane point of views that lock us up, which is, oh, we can't do this. We are going to fail. This is not going to work. I can't possibly do this. This is for everybody else. Like all of those, silly, insane points of view that stop you pretty much from being you. It's like, if you were willing to be you, if you were willing to commit to being you, it's like, would you change the world? Would you change your business? Would you change where you live? Would you change how you woke up each morning? Would you wake up happier? Would you create something entirely different? So there is a whole lot of other possibilities available here. And a couple of my favorite questions, which I'll give to you now, is what possibilities are available that you have not yet asked for? So the thing is, when you ask that question, you're taking yourself out of where you've currently been willing to look, and you're taking yourself into a space that is far beyond what you can ever imagine. So what possibilities are available that you have not yet asked for? And everything that is, and everything that doesn't allow those possibilities to show up, everywhere that you've completely and utterly shut them out of your universe, where you destroy and uncreate it, big yes, tons of godzillions, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all night, shorts, boys and beyond. So we are set to go off to another break. When we come back, Harris, we're going to be talking to you. This is interesting having, so many dynamic people on here. It's like this is going so fast. So we'll be back. And in the meantime, during the break, check us all out on accessjoyofbusiness.com. And you can find lots more OMTimes radio shows there. You can find everyone on there, their beautiful pictures, where they're doing classes next, and how to contact them. So we'll be back soon. Don't go away.
Would your business and life like to be bigger? Would you like to have more fun with everything you do? Simone Milasas travels the world facilitating Joy of Business seminars. These classes are for you if you would like to create more money and joy, expand your business, and work smarter, not harder. Join her live or watch the online seminar from the comfort of your own home. Go to www.accessjoyofbusiness.com to register and for more information.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is our last segment on this show, Joy Business. Not the last Joy Business show, it's just like the last segment on this 1 hour show. So how does it get any better than this? We had so many amazing people on here. So Harris, let's swing straight over to you, and let's talk about any of the stories or the tools that you may have on what it's like to commit to one's business and what that looks like.
Yes, for me, it's a good tool which we can use every day is to ask ourselves, how can I be the most I can be? Like committing to our life, for me, it's like being the most. What if we can be the most we can be, and what if we can allow everything in our life, to allow our body, to allow our business to be just the most it can be. Most people are committed to limitations. Most people are committed to okay life with ups and downs. What if we can create out of that box? What if we can create totally new life and out-create it all the time, create every day new life, new possibilities, and to just jump in that ocean of magic we can be? And what can our life be if we do it? And
that's
also
a good question.
What is interesting is how creative we are when there is a necessity, like when we have to pay the bills, when we have a deal to fulfill, or we have a deadline. How creative are we in the last day? How much we do? If we allow ourselves to be more creative in our life, what can our life be, or our business, if we really use all our capabilities?
Yeah. So Harris, what would you say to people out there who are listening to you sort of going, well, that's great, but how do I do that? Like, how do I start committing to my life? What's some of the first things that you would advise that people could choose?
Yeah, first thing is to choose your life, like consciously choose it, because maybe we didn't consciously yet choose to live here and to check it out, how to be here, to create here where we are at the moment, and to just choose it first, and then to be the question, how can I be the most I can be? How can my life be the most it can be? And what do I need to be here? How can I create that? To be that question and to allow ourselves to be energy and to be life.
So, and I like the way, Harris, when you refer to this too, you actually have asked a lot of questions in when you talk. So, and that's one of the things that we talk about in Access Consciousness is it's sort of imperative to ask questions. If you ask a question, it's like the universe hears that you desire something more. You're not functioning from a conclusion, an answer, which creates a limitation. You're asking, I mean, even that question of like, okay, so how can I be more here? And it's like, if I commit to my life, what else could show up? Like, you don't know what's going to show up. But what if you went to bed tonight, I know you guys have got a big day ahead of you in Europe, but Katarina's probably almost asleep. It's like, what if you went to bed tonight and woke up tomorrow and went, okay, so who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures can I have? And you took that one question away, who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures can I have? Because you're waking up in the morning going, all right, bring it on. I'm going to commit to my life. I'm going to commit to my business. I'm going to commit to, more money showing up and seeing what does occur. So, Katarina, I know that you had a little caveat that you wanted to add about your Australian adventure and, buying those business tickets. So what showed up for you with that?
It's a magic contribution of the universe. Now, it was a bit of a leap for me to really invest in me. And when I've been choosing that these last few years, what I see is that when I invest in me, the money comes back to me, or I receive money from different directions that covers that and beyond. So actually, when I paid for the business tickets, that money and beyond actually came to me the day after. So it's like, oh yeah, here we have that receipt on a good choice.
So you're willing to commit to your business, and then the money shows up. And I've got a very short, funny story that just happened to myself and Rebecca. We were in Malaysia, in Langkawi, and we were checking out these resorts so that we could do an Access Consciousness 7-day event there. And the first 24 hours we got there, and everything was the opposite of what it was. Like, it just wasn't working out. So we went, okay, we pulled every tool out of the toolbox that we had. I was trying so hard to turn problems into possibilities, and it wasn't showing up like that. So we were like, all right, we have to leave. We have to leave where we are and either go home or find something else. So we hired a car in a place where you couldn't hire a car. It was amazing how the magic showed up. And I quickly got online and I found some more accommodation. I was like, oh, I've got us something, because everything was booked out. It was so busy. So we get to this hotel and we're checking in, and she's like, I'm going to take, this amount of you out of your credit card. And it's all in ringgit. So I'm not really familiar with ringgit, Malaysian ringgit. And then I start to work it out in my head, and I'm like, how much is she taking out? And I realized that we had booked 3 days accommodation, and I got a beach villa for Rebecca and a beach villa for myself, and it was 13,500 Australian dollars. I was like, for that 3 hours, I was just like, holy shit, I'm in such a beyond that I've just spent $13,500. So that's Rebecca's birthday present, by the way, for staying in Langkawi. She did have an amazing time, but we both did. But the thing was, I was literally in a beyond for 3 hours, and then I went, all right, what's right about this I'm not getting, and what would it take for this money to show up in my life, faster and greater and more, and have the universe contribute to me, as you said, Katarina, the magic contribution of the universe. And I literally, by that afternoon, I was like, wow, I feel like I've just made more money, and I have no idea how that money's showing up or where it's showing up from. But because I was willing not to go to judgment, I did go to beyond for a few hours, but I didn't go to judgment. It was like, okay, so now what can show up from this? So everybody that you've made money and business so significant that you don't allow the magic and contribution of the universe to show up, where you destroy and uncreate it. Times are going to him. Right and wrong, good about pock and pot or name, shorts, boys and beyond. What did you want to add there, Rebecca?
Well, also, I just wanted to say, you allowed yourself to have that beyond. Like, you didn't resist and react it. You didn't go in, like, try and fight yourself over, oh, I shouldn't be judging myself for this. I shouldn't be, like, having an issue with this. You're like, okay, this is changing something for me. And it was the same for me, too. In fact, if you hadn't done that, I would have been going into way much more weirdness about the whole thing of like, oh my gosh, my boss just spent this much money on me and he didn't even mean to, and how am I going to make it up to her? And I mean, we both could have head tripped and judged so much about that entire thing, but because you're like, okay, I'm in a beyond. Okay, I'm going to be
happened. I'm going to order one of those beautiful lemongrass drinks that they have as I'm in my beyond to refresh myself and see what next.
It was one of the fastest changes ever. We're just sitting there in the restaurant, and you go, okay, I think I'm over it. I think I'm going to make more money. And it was just like that.
And it was stunning. It was so beautiful. If you ever, 4 Seasons, beach villa in Langkawi, absolutely amazing. Do it.
Your financial reality. Do it.
Exactly. We only have a few more minutes left. So I just wanted to hear from each one of you if you have, like, a last question or tool that you want to leave the listeners with on, how they can sort of choose to commit to their business with more ease, joy, and glory. So anyone that wants to, has one straight off they want to go into?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I love Katarina. It. Everyone wants to. Katarina, go.
Well, I say like Nike, so just do it. So never give up, never give in, never quit. Just go for it. Go for what's fun for you, what's light for you, and what you know is true for you.
Perfect. Love it. Thank you. Francesca?
So one of my favorite is like, if I were choosing for me, what would I choose? If I were choosing to be me, what would I choose?
Nice. I love it. Thank you. Harris?
Thanks.
What can my life be if I am more and more awake all my life, not going to sleep or turning off like a lot of people, just being more and more awake?
I love it.
all my
So
life.
if I was awake with my life, like it's like, what would I be choosing? Not sleeping off, not nodding off. So Andrea, what about yourself? Do you have a last question tool that you can offer people out there?
Okay, it's not a question. It's just an energy that I've been waking up with every day, and it's a question. It's create or die. So that's
nice.
the energy I do in the morning.
I like that. Well, that's what it gets you, doesn't it? It's like, okay, if I'm not going to create something, you literally are dying. You're literally killing yourself. If you're doing, what you were talking about before, walking away from things, thinking that was a choice, you're literally creating more death in your body and your being, your money flows, your business. So thank you for that. That's great. Create or die. It's got some punch to it. Rebecca?
I would just have to dare you to be uncomfortable. What if you could let yourself go for something, no matter how uncomfortable you feel, no matter how weird it seems? What if you just went for it? Just my little dare to you for this.
I like
for this
that.
OMTimes show.
So we've got some demands, we've got some dares, and we've got some questions. So I'd probably like to leave you with the question that I used my whole life growing up. Even when I was a teenager and there was just funky stuff going on in my life, I kept it to myself. It was just for me, just for fun, just for me, just for me. And I would use the question of imagine what you would do if you knew you couldn't fail. Because you know what? You never do fail. It always just doesn't show up the way you think it's going to show up. So and also the other thing that I would recommend is go check out accessjoybusiness.com. Find your local class, Joy of Business 101. They're happening all over the place. I've actually got some in September in Denver, Colorado, which will be live streamed as well. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of September. And I know that all these guys have classes up. So accessjoyofbusiness.com. Click on Facilitators, find us, find a class near you, and start committing to your life. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Thank you. Bye now.